Good evening. Welcome to the Other 24 Report. I'm Seymour Guff, and this is what's happening. If you remember, Justin Trudeau and his finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, continually reinforced the narrative that the Ottawa freedom protesters were right-wing extremists and promoted that the narrative with their constant rhetoric of the disgusting display of Nazi flags and denouncing anyone who would stand with swastikas. And that comment was directed at a Jewish member of the Conservative Party in Parliament.
Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag.
Yes, there was one Nazi flag at the protest, but the flag bearer was asked to leave by protesters. The depiction of the entire freedom group as Nazi supporters is not only disinformation, but it qualifies as damaging propaganda attempting to hide the truth. I ask you, is it reasonable if one person with bad judgment decides to bring an unacceptable flag to a protest? Is it right to then categorize the whole crowd as supporting that one misguided person, even if the crowd asks that person to leave? Well, that's what Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland did, and they have set their own standard for that type of assessment and need to be held accountable for that. So, if that is the case, why is Chrystia Freeland's incident, as reported by True North, of her holding a neo-Nazi scarf not held to their same standard? She was not just in the crowd where the flag was, she was helping to hold it up. Why haven't the legacy media called her out for that? On the contrary, they have defended her actions, calling the incident Russian disinformation. Does this seem like a blatant double standard to you? One journalist, Rachel Emmanuel, was working with iPolitics in Ottawa and attempted to objectively cover the Freeland story. Her editor at iPolitics was contacted by Freeland's office and pressured into changing the story to coincide with the government's view, without the knowledge of the journalist, exhibiting significant government interference in the media. And furthermore, Miss Emmanuel was told by iPolitics to stop giving a platform to voices that oppose mandatory vaccines and lockdowns, and to default to the government's science. As a result, Miss Emmanuel took exception to this outrageous breach of journalistic integrity and left iPolitics and joined the Western Standard. All this after Freeland actually posted the scarf photo on her own Twitter feed. Then, the next day, the tweet was taken down and replaced with another photo of her without the scarf. If there was no transgression on her part with the scarf, then why take the Twitter post down? What does the scarf actually represent? The scarf's red and black colors depict blood and soil, which was condemned by the legacy media as a racist chant during the Charlottesville riot, with CNN reporting that protesters chant Nazi slogan, blood and soil. Blood and soil, blood and soil, blood and soil. But now, is it really no big deal if Chrystia Freeland poses with a blood and soil scarf? The colors also represent a far-right group in Ukraine, the Organization of Ukraine Nationalists, and their founder, who participated in the Nazi movement in Ukraine during the Second World War, Stepan Bandera. Bandera was responsible for the deaths of many Jews and Polish citizens during the war. Is Chrystia Freeland aware of the scarf's significance? Well, given that Chrystia Freeland is of Ukrainian descent, and she has lived in the Ukraine, speaks Ukrainian and Russian, and has extensive literary and journalistic background, Specifically on Ukrainian history, she is most certainly aware of the scarf's background and significance. With a closer look into Ukrainian history, you will find that there are groups in that country well known to be Nazi supporters. It is also a fact that Freeland's grandfather was a Nazi collaborator. She has dodged many questions on this issue, which speaks for itself. Furthermore, Canadian officials met with the Azov Battalion in June 2018 in Ukraine, known to have Nazi ideologies, and then they tried to hide the fact that the meeting ever happened. And Trudeau's Canadian military is also accused of helping to train neo-Nazi groups in Ukraine, even after being warned about their far-right Nazi ties. Trudeau's government elected to ignore the warnings. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Who are the ones standing with swastikas now? The blatant hypocrisy of Trudeau's government and the media's total disregard for objective reporting is painfully obvious with respect to these as well as many other events. We now go over to Salvatore Salvaggio for his comments. Salvatore.
Thank you, Seymour. This Freelander woman, she's dangerous. First she called the peaceful protesters the bad names. And then she take the people's money away. And now she's caught doing the bad stuff that she's been accusing the other people of doing. And then she tried to hide it. I tell you, she can't be trusted. Freeland and Trudeau don't want to hear anything bad about themselves. Trudeau have the police ban the signs in Ottawa that offend him or hurt his feelings.
What's the problem? Are they saying that's banned now?
They're saying that fuck Trudeau flags are not allowed on the hill.
Ah, that's a new law, is it?
Yeah.
Can I just
No, go for it.
All right, so just like the rules for the sign and everything, it says no obscene, offensive on the hill.
You know, all things considered, we've had it worse than that. So I guess they're saying that this is a.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say fuck.
They're saying this sign is not allowed anymore. Well,
It doesn't say anything.
this must be personally from Justin.
That's right. He's banning the signs now. Poor guy. His feelings might be hurt, so he have his police stop the flags and the signs. Trudeau has been quoted as saying, "We will always defend the freedom of expression." Really? It don't seem that way. Then why Trudeau is now wanting to bring in more censorship on the internet to stop even more of the people to say the things he don't like? Well, this is making me very sad. The freedom of expression and the freedom of speech now are dead in Canada. I'm scared that it will only get worse if the people don't wake up. Back to you, Seymour.
Thanks, Salvatore. So that's what's happening. This is Seymour Guff with the Other 24 Report. Signing off until next time. Keep asking questions and looking for answers. Everyone has 24 hours in their day. Which 24 will you live?